Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
And hello and welcome to the penultimate round of the Apex Racing League's Formula V Championship here live on Apex Racing TV. I am David Whitehouse, alongside me in the commentary box is Andy Thompson, and we have Samuli Kumo on productions here for this race around the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Roval course. With this being the penultimate round of a championship, we have obviously a championship fight well and truly on, with many different winners this season and only 5 points covering the top two in the pro category, with over 450 points remaining. So, Andy, you have been on top of the championship throughout the year. How's it sort of been in terms of a championship fight?
Yeah, I mean, it's very topsy-turvy at the top as we look at this current championship standing. We see Jan-Philippe Jank at the top of the standing at the moment with 865. Hot on his heels, Jacob Behrens in second place on 860. And then we got Alexander Scaret literally 1 point behind him. So in this championship, it's sort of every 3 races, we've sort of had different winners on each of the races. There's been a lot of carnage throughout the season on the different races, more towards race 2 and 3, because we do have obviously reverse grids in this championship, and tonight is no exceptions, with race number 2 being 13 places and race number 3 is going to be 10th place reverse grid. But yeah, as we can see there, it's still very close at the top of the championship, and we've had some big names go out all over the season, which has made it exceptionally tight. So I'm expecting a really good championship tonight. And on the AM side, it's still just as tight. We've got Push to Prava at the top at 792, a bit more of a gap over Pedro Dominguez in second at 748, but Jared Will just behind 736, and the rest of the field all the way probably down to 5th is quite close, as we see Gabo Sabo and Russ Fowler 4th and 5th on exactly the same points, but with exactly what you're saying, with the points still on offer, and it's not categorized in championship, it's overall position. There's still a lot to play for, and both of the championships are wide open. I think the main thing about this track is trying to keep it consistent, trying to keep the results coming in, because it's so easy. These cars are like paper thin coming around here, and any sort of slight hit or anything on them wheels will obviously buckle the wheels. So it's all about consistency, I think, at the moment in this championship.
Yeah, the Charlotte Roval is going to be a challenge for all the drivers, especially in terms of picking up the slipstream. These cars are very slippery, very unstable at times if you take them off the throttle. And I think there's probably only about 3 braking points on the whole circuit, like hard braking points for these cars. So I think staying in that train is going to be really important throughout the 3 races.
Yeah, I think throughout the season we've had sort of different tracks with different sort of styles that you've got to go for. So we try to give the drivers as much of a challenge as we can on these tracks. This one is, as you can see, the track is really wide, and it's more about the slipstream effect around this track. So there's not a lot of braking zones for these cars, but you know what the drivers are going to have to contend with today is obviously the overpower that we've seen in previous rounds on the slipstream. So you can sort of see Behrens doing about 97 miles an hour, trying to get up to 98. But if we manage to get a car behind somebody, we'll sort of see the overspeed that the guys are getting. So they're currently in like four minutes into the qualifying, and the big thing that we could see within this qualifying is if somebody can pick up somebody else's slipstream, and this is where the team play would come in, that you can slipstream each other as a team to try and get that faster lap time, because that's certainly where the faster lap times are going to be. Just obviously one for the viewers on there. So the track limits are, as you sort of see here, I think Flavio Andolo is pushing the limits slightly. So anything on the outer side of the oval track, the blue and white line you can see there on the inside is the track limit. And they can go over the blue lines on the inner portion of the track in the oval section of the track. So they are allowed to go over them blue lines, but on the outside ovals, they've got to stay above that blue line.
Yeah, and also you're saying about width of the track, with these cars being that little bit slower than say a GT3 or something, or a single seater like an IndyCar on this game, they probably won't use all of that track, so it's going to leave space for about 3, 4, maybe even 5 wide on the oval, and that's when we could see incidents.
Yeah, it's more exactly that. You know, it's not about the braking zones going into corner. This track is going to be all about the slipstream effect and choosing your correct time to try and pass drivers. We will see probably 3 or 4 drivers wide trying to go into a corner, but we all know that it's not going to work. Certainly on the corner that we're watching on stream now, which is a very tight right-hander followed by a left, and obviously as you can see there, you get pushed out quite wide into the start-finish straight. So, you know, if we see some optimistic moves around there, I'm pretty sure that we're going to see some horrendous crashes around there, which will take people out. So people just need to be, and the drivers just need to be aware of where they are on track, and just make sure that they pass at the correct moments. And that could be the winner or loser of this championship.
As you can see at the moment, these guys are into the qualifying session, and it's 6 minutes 40 gone at the moment for 10 minutes, and we have the 2 championship rivals in the same order at the top of the table. Janka and Behrens first and second. Third is Smith, as Andaleo takes 3rd place off him. And you can see that the times are quite spread out, but that could be very easy as Costa goes round at the chicane. That could be very easily down to that slipstream effect that you just talked about, Andy.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's where you'll see the difference in time. They were all quite close in qualifying, but you could see the guys that had the slipstream effect getting that edge. They were sort of doing about a 1:36. So I don't think anyone's really picked up the slipstream off anybody at the moment, and probably somebody if sees them behind them trying to get the slipstream will move offline or move out of the way. So this sort of qualifying is certainly a tactical game, as at the moment we see Jank in first place, Berend 0.12 behind, Andelo in third, 0.3 seconds behind, Smith fourth, and then we have our top of our AMs at the moment. So you may only notice there are there's only a few cars that have actually gone out. Well, we do have quite a few people doing pit lane starts, as we do every single week on this championship. So quite a few getting the quali ban and pit lane starts for race number 1. So I think there's about 6 or 7 of them that are just sitting in the pitch, chilling out, waiting for that green light. And it's probably sometimes it's not a bad idea being in the pits, because we've seen quite a few incidents around the first corner. So if you are starting from the pit lane, you're not going to have that issue, and you should be able to get out and be in relatively clean air.
Yeah, the Charlotte Roval really leaves a tight walled section just coming out of a pit lane, so it really does cause the cars to bottle up and have incidents, as we can see. Andaleo just spinning on the final chicane there, ruining his flying lap. But we have Berens now 36 thousandths behind Janka, and they'll probably have time for one more lap if they're already on it now. We also have the live chat on the YouTube channel, so if you're watching there, please feel free to leave any comments or who you're supporting or any questions for us, and we'll be able to answer them the best we can about this series or any of the other series that we have running throughout the week. But we have 30 seconds left. That's the end for Aaron Smith. He has qualified 5th, and I think the surprise of this qualifying session for me is Reeve in 6th place. He's currently 10th in the Amateur Championship, but that is some great pace there by Reeve, and he's ahead of the championship leader Pravda.
Yeah, it's a very the points standings at the moment give sort of a false picture of probably how the championship's gone. Like I said before, you know, we've had many different winners in this series. We've had, you know, many of the top drivers going out, people taking losing a lot of points per round, and that's what's made it really tight coming into this this championship, which is probably one of the big things about this championship, is how tight it is, and you know how topsy-turvy the current points are. So somebody could lead in one round, and the next round they're down in 5th or 6th place because they've had 2 bad rounds in 3 races. So it's all to play for, and like I said at the start, it's all about consistency within these. So if you keep the consistency, because Prada hasn't really been at the front of the grid that often, but he's been very consistent, and hence why he's got a bit of a lead in the AM Championship.
As we see, the qualifying session has now come to an end, and there is the grid on your screens. Philip Janka on pole position alongside the returning Jetson Adriansen. Jakob Berens 3rd on the grid with Flavio Andaleo 4th, Aaron Smith in 5th, and then the first of our amateurs, Jack Reeve in 6th. Pushta Pravda in 7th, Rush Fowler in 8th, while Pedro Dominguez and Gabor Sabo round out the top 10. Jay Walsh and Alex Rogenbeck are in 11th and 12th. And then I believe the rest are pit lane starts. That's Jordan Kelly, Simon Burtle, Alex Garat, Will Price, Karaski, Charpentier, and Costa.
Yeah, so we got all our bad boys, as we say, from 13th all the way down that have currently got the pit lane starts as we line up for the grid.
There you are on the front row. You've got the championship leader Janka waiting for the go on this race. Formula V's look so small out on this circuit, but it's certainly going to juice a great race, especially with the slipstream. For some reason there seems to be a car halfway through the chicane. That's a strange one. It's Bruno Costa. But here come the lights. And it's Janka on pole. We're up to 3, 4, 5. And away we go for the first heat of the Formula V Championship at Charlotte Roval. Good start by the front three, but it's Adriansen trying to sweep round the outside of Janka. That's not going to work very easily, but they head into this narrow section. And Behrens up the inside and has got both of them by the looks of things. Adriansen keeps the inside for turn 3. But it is Adriansen, Behrens, Janka, Anderlo and Smith as off goes Pravda. The amateur championship leader is off into the wall and there's surely damage to that car. But back at the front, we have the 3 from the front of the grid and Behrens really trying to get past Adriansen early on. But Janka, a sort of poor start for him after initial getaway.
Yeah, definitely. As we saw Behrens sort of sneak up the inside of Andrewson and Jank as they were trying to fight around the first corner, but sort of laying it out now, and this is where we're going to start seeing the slipstream come in. So Andrewson managed to get a little bit of a lead, and then we got Behrens and Jank fighting side by side coming into the first of the bus stops around this track. So we've got Behrens on the inside, Jank on the outside. So Behrens manages to give a little bit of space there to Jank and managed to avoid an incident there. So lost a little bit of time, and now Reeves is right onto the back of him as Pravda seems like he's managed to get away with that side of incidents. Not really thing as we see Jarrett Will going on the inside with Parise going there, but we've got 3 wide coming round on this back marker with Parise and Sharp and Thier coming down onto the inside of them. So we've got currently a 3-car battle as we go 2 wide into the last corner. Alan Runabout getting up all bent out of shape on the last corner, and quite easily done in these cars, spinning it full, but you know, losing a lot of places, letting everybody pass before trying to get back underway.
Yeah, poor end to the lap for Rogan, but we've got cars off. That's Garat in the background. Somebody's lost a wheel as well. I think that's Bruno Costa who's lost a wheel, so he will be returning to the pits and hopefully rejoining the race at some point, but I'm not quite sure what happened. Here's a replay of it. Bruno Costa driving down into turn 1 and it's smoking a bit, and there's a spin for Costa, and then everybody else just follows up. Oh, and it's a terrible rejoin by Costa straight into Scarat, and it's let the rest of the field through, and there's a few more rejoining behind, but not a bright idea to rejoin that quickly.
No, obviously took that inside corner, got the car bent out of shape, and unfortunately got thrown into the wall where he lost his wheel. But as we see at the moment, a 3-way battle. These 3 at the front fighting really hard, and a great move there by Behrens to take over first place out of there. So a really good undertake move there over Adriansen and Jank, who were 3 cars wide, and Jank managed to get a bit back, and Smith is fighting him hard going into that corner. So he'll be right on his back as Adriansen pulls underneath Behrens to try and take the position back, and this is where we see the effect of the slipstream on these cars around this track. It's just judging it so you can take that position well. Oh, as we see Behrens go off massively there into the last corner. Be interesting to see if he got hit going in there, but a disaster for Jaco Behrens, obviously currently 2nd in the championship, and has had to go back to the pits. So at the moment we've got 5 cars in the pits: Behrens, Costa, Jarrett Will and Jaco Parise, as we watch a replay of the action coming into the first of the bus stops. In fact, no, this is the second. So no, he just manages to go too much over them curbs, gets the car bent out of shape, and we can see as he was going over it, he was starting, and we saw another car there going in the background into the wall. So at the moment we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars that are currently in the pit lane as we have the crossfire as well. So quite a few cars currently in the pits.
Yeah, absolute chaos at that chicane. But I was just about to mention Jack Reeves had fallen down to 10th place, now back up to 7th. So it's Dominguez who leaves in the amateurs. But this is the type of racing we're going to see all night long. Just people biding the time. Aaron Smith could have tried to overtake both of them there. There's no need to. He's just going to get slipstream back. So it's all about patience. If you've ever watched the Indy 500, it's going to be a bit like that. Just pure patience. You can take your chances when they come later in the race, as we see a lot of drivers now coming back out of the pits as Smith now goes to the outside. He won't make it through there, but you can see he just backs off and lets Janka and Adriansen fight it out. And I wonder if Janka knows that Behrens is sort of down in 14th and in the pit lane as Smith goes to the inside of a 3 wide again into turn 1. And Smith now takes the lead. Janka goes to the inside of Adriansen and might go to the inside of Smith here and takes the lead. So it's back and forward between these lead 3, and they just need to try and not trip over each other. They've got a big lead over Andreleo. But yeah, Janka, in terms of a championship, knowing Behrens is off, and Adriansen spun. So Adriansen has spun out of the position, and it was actually Andreleo who just missed Behrens through that chicane and caught it very well later on.
Yeah, no, that was some really good racing on the previous lap between Jack Smith and obviously Adriansen. Unfortunately, got it a little bit wrong coming round turn 4 and managing to spin the car there. You know, these cars are very difficult to drive, a lot of the drivers say, and it's easily to get the cars bent out of shape, certainly when you're following in the slipstreams that they are in this round, is to try and judge the overspeed that you're going to have on the cars and where the braking point is. And you know, the tyres on the ears are so thin, as we're currently watching Jack Reeves trying to get past Skiret, so we can see the power of the slipstream as it gets alongside. So it'll be side by side coming into the first bus stop where we have Skiret has currently got the inside line, but managing to get it done there on the outside is Alexander Skiret, and a great move coming into the first bus stop. So we got Alexander Skiret there, we got Haraski, a 3-car battle here in this championship for 9th place.
This is the 2nd place of the pit lane starters. Charpentier has done a great job to get up into 8th place, took advantage of others' mistakes and up into 8th place from pit lane. Skirat's the 2nd car from the pit lane, as Ball now sets the fastest lap of the race. Simon Ball, the privateer, is really flying with a 38.1, and that looks like it's been done with no slipstream at all as well, which is a great time compared to the leaders who have been battling, but they've had the slipstream help. So a great lap there by Simon Ball, who's trying to close down on Adriansen, but with that group closing in behind. But the gap at the front, Smith and Janka, 2 tenths apart, well, even less than that now, but they've got a 3.5 second lead over Andreleo, who hasn't got anybody to help him, as Behrens now sets the fastest lap down in 14th on his recovery drive. But the 2 cars are side by side into the first bus stop chicane, and it's Smith who comes out in front, but they're trying to run side by side through the chicane, and yet Smith in the 7-Up Jordan inspired livery now leads Janka, and these 2 will just go at it all day long until there is a mistake by one of them. But
yeah, the Aaron Smith seems to have had a really good round at the moment. He's won a race in the last 2 rounds within this championship, and as good as we watch a replay here from Simon Ball. So just after doing the fastest lap, what sort of mistake has he done? Took too much curb? Yeah, so as you saw there, he took too much of that inside curb, got the 2 tyres off the ground, and basically by the time they came back down, he was already sliding out. So from obviously a really good place, he's currently sat down in 11th place, but as we join this battle here for 8th place with Reeves, who's dropping down the field a little bit. So he's now got Skiret and Araski right on his tail, with Ball just behind them, as we saw earlier. You know, Skiret is a very quick driver on this track, and not afraid to throw it into corners, and often sometimes comes off a little bit worse, but it's always great to watch him on stream to see them optimistic moves, and it's probably about 50-50 whether they come off or whether they don't come off. So you know, that's why Alex is currently in 3rd place in the championship. He is prone to little mistakes every now and then, but it's always great to watch him on the stream as he rides up behind the back of Jack Reeves, trying to get that. So as long as he can stay quite close as he slips out of the slipstream and comes down to make it 2 wide again into this bus stop. So they're sort of all proving me wrong at the moment with coming down into this bus stop and being 2 and 3 wide coming in and managing to keep it safe, as we see Alexander's great getting a really good exit out of the bus stop. Alex Reeves getting a little bit out of shape, so Alex Garrett should get this job done coming down into the next corner as long as he can.
It looked like it's Haraski trying to go 3 wide. He kept his nose clean well and truly out the back from his pit lane start and is now up past Garat, and after Reeve makes a mistake on the exit, so he goes to the inside, and that should be a done deal unless Garat goes to the inside. No, Haraski is through. That's 2 places in 2 corners for Haraski and up into 8th place. Walsh just had a very slow lap in front, so this might be Haraski's chance to get 7th place. But just while we've got a little pause in the action, if there's actually ever one in Formula V, we just want to say thank you to one of our sponsors, the Virtual Racing School, which can improve your on-track performance with over 50 data packs, road and oval racing, setups, track guides, data analysis software, and one-on-one coaching. So if you want to have a look into that, you can head over to the Apex Racing Virtual Racing School, and hopefully we can bring up some your skills on the iRacing platform.
Yeah, as we saw there, a great pass by Reeves on Scorette coming into just at the end of the inner part of the circuit here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And sort of see these drivers, you know, getting slightly off position, as we see there. Reeves getting slightly bent out, and Scorette going on the outside, managing to go up on the inside of Reeves, but I don't think he had a choice there, because Reeves was a little bit bent out of shape as we watch Simon Ball here getting the run on Reeves, so he could get the double move done here, because these two seem to be fighting quite hard. So all he needs to do, I think, is back off a little bit and get a really good run out of this corner, because when they go too wide into this corner, they do compromise their lines coming in, and they're both quite slow, as we watch here. And that will closing in, and unfortunately going to have to back out a little bit, or else would have gone into the back of Alexander Scorette coming around for another lap. So we've currently got 3 minutes left of this Heat 1 race. And out front we've got Philip Jank, who's managing to keep a slight lead over Aaron Smith of Zen Racing in 2nd place, only 0.3 of a second behind, which is nothing to discuss at all. As we see Simon Ball having a bit of an incident there, so that's twice now he's been doing really well, and unfortunately has an incident.
It's commentator's curse there for Simon Ball as he comes through into turn number 3, and he just runs into Scorette, and Scorette also with probably damage to his car. It looked like he managed to continue in his position. Yes, he did, and it looks like he's not too badly damaged either. Oh no, he's popped into the pits. Big news in the Amateur Championship. Pravda 20th and out. Dominguez leading, so that's 2nd place in the championship, leading well. 1st is out, so that's a big point swing just in this one heat for Pedro Dominguez. Almost a perfect start he wanted today. He's out on his own, no pressure to do anything, and his championship rival is out of this opening heat.
Yeah, so there'll be a decent points haul if he manages to stay in 5th place, and it will close the gap to Pravda, and will probably make him going to lead. But that's the beauty of this championship, you know, within one race, the person who is behind can actually obviously overtake him. And same with Reeve. I think Reeve was in I think we said 10th place. So with the points haul that he currently got, currently 2nd in the AM championship, you know, he could get a decent points haul. So that's how topsy-turvy this championship has been throughout the season. You've got, and I'll go back to what I said at the start. It's all about consistency in this race. You know, I don't think it's ever a better term than you don't win the race on the first lap in these cars, because the amount of carnage that we have had previous rounds on the first lap, and the number of drivers, I think we saw here about 6 of them. As we look on the timing towers, everybody from P11 all the way down to the end, if they're not out, they've already taken a pit and a fast repair, and already 51 seconds behind the leader. So, you know, if you keep it nice and clean, then you're going to be rocketing up the places in the championship, and you're going to be getting them decent points. So it's patience in this championship.
Patience is really the name of the game, as we can see Smith 6 tenths behind Janka Top of the pit lane starters, Charpentier is 6th, and I don't know where this has come from, but Adriansen got past Andaleo and set a purple, so a fastest final sector, and set a 36.8 as a best lap, which is nobody else has got anywhere near that throughout the race. So I'm not sure where that come from, but what a lap by Adriansen.
Yeah, we know he's a very quick driver, and it's obviously the must have had some sort of slipstream effect coming down them long straights. But we're now on the final lap of heat number 1. Philippe Jank is obviously been out the front from the get-go with Aaron Smith quite hot on his tails. Adriansen had a bit of a spin and was unfortunate to not be in the battle. Obviously a spin coming round into turn number 4, but has managed to fight his way back up to 3rd place. We've currently got Andalo in 4th place, our resident Brazilian driver, with Dominguez the top of the AMS at the moment in 5th, but we'll stay with this battle currently for 1st place and see if Smith can get anything done on this last section of the Roval, if he consolidates 2nd, or if he does try to get that. And we can see him getting right onto the back of Philippe Jank coming onto the 1st bus stop. So he's got one more opportunity coming down this back straight as he gets a really good exit out of the 2nd bus stop. So he pulls out of the slipstream of Philippe Jank. I think he might have pulled out a little bit too early as he ducks down behind him, so that might have been his position. He ducks down the inside of Philippe Jank, so he manages to get it inside for the last bus stop, and Philippe Jank obviously coming down, so right down to the line this first heat is going to go, and Philippe Jank trying to go up the inside of him but not managing to get it done. So a perfect slipstream overtake there from Aaron Smith to win race number 1 with Philippe Jank, who led the majority of that race, and currently gets 2nd place with Adriansen in 3rd and Andalo in 4th, as we watch Pedro Dominguez coming over the line in 5th place, so our top amateur finisher.
Yeah, great timing by Smith to take that victory from Yank on the final corner. I'm not sure even why Yank may have left that gap on the inside, to be fair. It looked like he had Aaron Smith all covered, but Smith just saw the gap, went for it, and knew that he doesn't have the championship lead to worry about. Smith in 6th in the championship before this race on 7.99, so 66 points behind the leader. But that move will have closed the gap and certainly given him a lot of confidence going into the next 2 races. Obviously, this time he will have to start from 13th.
Yeah, it's nothing. I don't think there's anything more satisfying in iRacing when you actually do that. Overtake somebody just going onto the last few corners of a race is such a satisfying feeling in this sim racing environment when you actually get that done. And you know, we just saw then the power of that slipstream effect coming through. And I think what Jan-Philippe Jank was trying to do was trying to get the inside line for this corner here. As we see Jarrett Will getting it all wrong, just right on the last lap. It'd be, go on, Simon Ball again. Is he going to reverse over the... that was a way to do it, I think. So he just manages to get in full of Will there. So that was our last 2 finishes of who was left in the race, I think, at the moment. So just ending the first heat. So that's 1 down, 2 to go. So we have a reverse grid at the moment for race 2 of 13 places. We'll quickly run through the results here. So Aaron Smith in 1st, Jan-Philippe Jank in 2nd, Jensen Anderson in 3rd, Fabio Andalo in 4th, Pedro Dominguez at top of our AMS in 5th, Marco Charpentier in 6th place, Miro Hiroski in 7th, Jack Reeves in 8th, Jay Walsh in 9th, and Alex Rodenbuck in 10th. Jacko Behrens 11th, Jordan Kelly in 12th, Gabel Savo in 13th, Russ Fowler in 14th, Simon Ball in 15th, Jarrett Will in 16th, and the rest of the drivers were pretty much out. So we get ready for race number 2 as we've got Sabo on the pole position and gets an okay start there. Kelly managing to get up alongside him, so manages to get that 1st place over Sabo in 2nd place, with Behrens hot on his heels in 4th place, in 2nd and 3rd place, sorry, and Behrens obviously making that move going into turn number 1 on Sabo. So Sabo goes from 1st down to 3rd place, and Kelly and Behrens managing to get past. So these 2 drivers at the front, Kelly and Behrens, obviously very quick drivers in the past and there, and obviously within the project, as we see a driver off on the left, and I think that was Walsh hitting the floor, coming the wall after turn number 4. So our first casualty of this race, and Pravda again is out, so I don't know if he actually took to the grid with Parise in 20th, so maybe not the round that he wants to do, so not a good start for Pravda, who's top of the AMS at the moment, that won't be there by the end of this race, as we see Rodenbuck having a big issue coming out of turn 8 there and getting spun around, but be interesting to see if he goes in. But at the front, we've got Kelly Behrens, and Charpentier has managed to get past Savo with Horaski in 5th.
Yeah, a great start by Kelly and Behrens will really want to take advantage of this after his first race accident. So we got a crash there. That's Janka, the championship leader, and he was getting involved with somebody else who cut across. Was it Horaski maybe? Yes, it was Miro Horaski, and the two just came together on the entrance to the chicane, and I don't know whether it was just some wheels interlocked, but here we got Adriansen leading a pack of 5 down to the final corner, with Reeve, Ball, Will and Andeleo all looking to gain a position. It's Reeve who goes into the side of Adriansen, and Adriansen is round. That was Reeve bouncing off the curb and nowhere to go. But back further forward, we have a slow Pedro Dominguez as well there in 14th. So not going well for him, especially with Pravda out. But this battle, obviously, you've got the quicker guys from race 1. So Adriansen down to 13th, Janka down to 12th, and our winner, Smith, is out in pit lane as well. So the top 3 from the first race are all a little bit further back than they would have hoped on this opening lap.
Yeah, it's the curse of the race too. So the faster guys obviously started in 13th place, trying to get through the field, and that's where it's all about racecraft. You know, not trying to get it all done on the first lap. They know they're faster than these guys that are in front of them, but as we saw there, the incident with Yank and Araski, they were going 3 wide into the first bus stop, which is never really going to work. I mean, 2 wide I think is the absolute maximum you can have going in there, and hence we saw there Araski sort of getting into, and Dominguez and Jank getting into there. As we see a big issue there, and it's Jack Rees and Alex Scarrett getting slightly involved, as Alex Scarrett's now got to wait there, and Jensen Anderson again, second spin in 2 laps for him to put him down into 12th place, as Scarrett gets in the pits. We've currently got Smith, Scarrett and Walsh that are in the pits, and we've only had this is the 3rd lap of a 15-minute race, so 3 minutes into this, so it's all gone on in this first lap. Oh, as we see a big issue there, Russ Fowler getting mixed up there a little bit with
Horaski
again. So Horaski involved in 2 incidents in the space of 2 laps there.
And I'd say Horaski and Fowler very lucky to get away with that. We've seen cars colliding at the chicane already tonight and being in the pits, as we see a driver coming out of the pits there. I think that might be Smith. No, it's Walsh, sorry. Walsh out, but Jay Walsh returning to the action, 2 laps down currently. But it's all go already here, but out in front, Kelly and Behrens have a nice lead over Charpentier, who is in 3rd place after his pit lane start in race 1. He's scoring big points today after, I think it was possibly in race 1 from the pit lane. He's now up to 3rd, and reverse next time is only 10th. He's already come through the field once, so he knows exactly what to watch out for in that midfield, and he will be pushing hard as he cuts across the red there. I'm not sure that's 100% allowed, but the stewards will look at that themselves, as Jack Reeve is around at the chicane again.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of action, and it's always that the first lap is the big carnage in this championship. If you can manage to get past that first lap and then start picking your positions off, that's the way to go in this championship. All too often we see the red mist descending on the drivers within the first lap, trying to get it all done, and that's where we see all these big issues and the big slides, because these cars are quite difficult. Although they're quite slow cars, they are quite difficult to handle. And they can get, as soon as you start losing it in these cars, you haven't got the tyre grip or the ABS or all the modern safety measures you have on other cars. It's literally just the small tyres of the wheel and the tarmac that it's touching that's going to stop you from spinning out. So it's always a quite fine line you tread with these cars to try and get the fastest out the lap, and often we see the drivers getting slightly bent out of shape as we're watching Flavio Andolo currently in 7th place, so up 3 places from where he started. But the biggest climber in the grid is Jarrett Wilson in 5th place, managed to get up 11 places on this grid. And obviously we've got some big losers as in Jay Welch 13 places down, Alex Ronbrook 9 places down, and Jack Reeves 8 places down. So sort of all flipped on its head from the first race, which is what we come to see. And at the moment, it looks like we are going to have our second different race winner, which is following the natural trend of this championship, as we got Kelly and Behrens out the front as we watch Andelo and Smith again to Simon Ball. So obviously he's been quite quick on this track, although he does have he's had a few incidents on there, but he's certainly got the speed as we have Jan-Philippe Jank trying to get himself back up after a disastrous first lap, should I say.
Ball almost losing it through the chicane, and he's going to give away both positions. We have had Jack Reeve visit the pit lane on the last lap, but he is back out there. But back at the front, we have Behrens closing in on Jordan Kelly now. Behrens really needs this win after the last race we had, as the fastest lap goes in for Adriansen in 11th place. But we'll concentrate on these top 2, and close behind, I think it's 5.6 seconds behind, is Charpentier. So we'll see how he gets on in closing that gap if these two start to fight. But Behrens will be nicely in the slipstream here, and he'll be just looking to get round this bank corner and then move out once he gets onto the straight, so he eliminates all risk possible. Kelly goes to the inside to defend, but is the slipstream just going to be too strong with Behrens? It looks like it might be, but Kelly brakes late and lets him go. Space given by both drivers, and that was nicely done by Behrens around the outside. But he is now going to be under pressure heading towards the final corner.
Yeah, I think it's going to be changing position on the slipstream effect between these two. But like you say, they're sort of compromising the lines a little bit, and Charpentier is in 3rd place and makes sure he gets the lines that he wants to. And tries to close down these gaps with these guys again going too wide into the second bus stop. And as you see there, Kelly manages to get past Behrens. So I think they're both giving each other spaces and let each other lead on certain parts of the track at the moment. We can see Behrens all over the back of Kelly at the moment, who's in 1st place. So Kelly, really fast driver, but he's only been in a sort of few rounds of the championship. And whenever he has been on track, he's certainly been there or thereabouts within the races that he's been, and obviously he is a real-life Formula V driver as well, so has a little bit of experience. But he says these cars are more like the US version than the British version.
Yeah, the British version I think is a little bit, I don't know, maybe a little bit heavier than the US version. It is a car that I've driven out on an airfield before, and it's a lot less lively than the one on the game and probably in America. But if you are looking to improve your driving even more, one of our other sponsors that we have to thank is Apex Racing Academy, where you can get 29 data packs, setups, track guides, integrated with VRS, weekly group coaching sessions, plus much more. So you can head over to the Apex Racing Academy website and look into joining crew and learning off the best of our drivers on iRacing. So we head back now to the battle of Kelly and Behrens, and I think Behrens is just biding his time now. He doesn't need to make the move. There's still 5 minutes to go in this race. And as we saw from the last race, you don't need to be leading on the last lap, because if it's this close, they'll be through.
Yeah, definitely. He's got quite good racecraft as Jacob Behrens, has had quite a few race wins in this series, and has always been there and thereabouts. Again, another unfortunate incidences in races has paid really to stretching his lead at the top of the championships, but it'd be certainly an interesting race in the last 5 minutes between Kelly and Behrens for that top position. But at the moment, as we watch on, with Philip Jank trying to make his way back up, so seems to be siphoning his way through the field quite nicely. The last time we saw him, he was in 8th place, but now he's managed to get up to 5th place and is now chasing down Gerard Will for 4th place in front of him. So managing to get that decent drive now after that unfortunate incident around the first bus stop on the first lap with Haraski. Has seemed to come out quite well on that and has managed to get himself up to 4th place on at the moment and trying to chase down this man we see on screen, Gerard Will in 4th.
Yeah, Jan-Philippe Janke, very lucky to get away with no damage from that, but he's got Andaleo, who's been consistently quick here today. As Janke runs wide, and that lets Andaleo and Ball through. So one little mistake there by Janke has cost him 2 positions. And in terms of his championship, it's not too bad at the moment, getting through to 7th on a reverse grid. Obviously, he would start 4th next time out. As Behrens now goes for the lead on Kelly, he's not waiting around any longer. He's followed the back of that Formula V long enough as Kelly goes back to the inside. And these two are going to fight with the lapped Aaron Smith. Going to get a great view of this close behind. But the two of them nose to tail. A bit of a lock-up there by Behrens. And he will be hoping not to ruin his race by running into the back of Kelly, just getting target fixated quite often if you've been following a car for a while, and they might just draw you into a late braking. If they run wide, you run wide, and things like that. And it's so easy to get target fixated on the car in front and just miss your braking point, and that could be race over for you.
Yeah, so obviously right on the tail of him, so we will see a side-by-side action coming into the first spot as we watch Behrens right onto the back. He may even be trying to bump draft him down this straight coming into the first bus stop. So not deciding to make the move, which is probably a wise decision into the first bus stop and can pick his line. So he's probably just trying to line it up for the last lap of the best place to try and take him. So I would expect him to try and push up on him and just see where the best place would be for the second bus stop, or where to try to take Kelly. So sort of, you know, he's trying to line him up, I think, which I think is probably the best option for Behrens, because certainly, as we saw in race number 1, the car in second place certainly has the advantage of the car in first place.
Exactly, and Behrens got the experiences. Kelly almost losing it over the chicane. But looking further back, Haraski, who's been in no end of battles all day long, is up into 10th, and that will be reverse grid pole at the end of this race. So he looks like he's by himself as well. A little bit behind Sabo, who started on pole position and has kept his nose clean throughout this race, and will be taking a amateur podium home if he keeps this up, even though the last lap was quite slow. But here's the battle just ahead, Andaleo, Ball and Yank. Let's see if Philip Yank can gain these 2 positions. Obviously, all crucial to the championship, gaining a couple of positions. But just have to see whether he can make it round the outside of Ball here. Ball goes to the inside of Andaleo. They can't go 3 wide through here. No, they don't. Andaleo runs wide. Ball going to the outside. And Yank's just waiting for something to happen here. As each time he goes left or right, there's somebody else there waiting for him. But this is his chance to go 3 wide. He's going to go right down the middle of them. They've both gone past Andaleo, who I think was clever there and realised he was going to lose out, so gets back in the slipstream to fight another day as they head down towards the first bus stop. And it's Yank just slightly ahead, but Ball will have the inside line. But no, he misses out, and that grippier outside line for Yank has just worked as Ball gives him a little nudge out of a chicane.
Yeah, as we join the battle again for first place with Behrens in the usual place, just right behind Kelly at the moment. So certainly it seems to be, as we get the white flag, so we're starting our final lap. So it's going to be down to these two at the moment to see who can win this championship. But as we saw in the first race, Jan-Philippe Jank, who was in front, Aaron Smith was in second, and Aaron managed to make the run out of the second bus stop to get past Jan-Philippe Jank. Be interesting to see if we get the same result here in race 2 with the car in second place managing to slipstream past the first place driver. But Kelly would do all he can and try and make the car as wide as he can to try and make that not happen. But I think it's probably going to be inevitable with the slipstream effect of these cars coming down on very long straights on the oval. So Aaron's just slightly a little bit behind Kelly now, just lost a little bit, but will close up by the first chicane. So it'll be interesting to see his move coming out there. There's a bit of an incident here by Johnson Angelo, currently fighting it for 7th. Angelo managed to get that position coming out of there as we rejoined the first place battle.
Yeah, Behrens being very clever there. I think they're both probably backing out the throttle to try and take second place into that chicane, but Behrens nicely in the slipstream on the banked corner. We'll just wait to see if that slipstream is just enough. He's closing in like Smith was on the opening race. All defensive of the inside by Kelly, but Behrens is there a little later than Smith was. He goes to the outside. They both try and make it through the chicane, but it is going to be Jordan Kelly who takes win number 2 here at Charlotte Roval circuit, and it's Behrens in second place. That won't harm his championship in any way. Charpentier in third. Will take 4th and the amateur win. That's a great result for Jarrett Will. Yank has moved up into 5th. He'll be happy with that after the incident on the opening lap, with Simon Ball in 6th. And Aleo, Adrianson, Araski and Sabo is to start on pole position again. He's a reverse grid master here today, and Jack Reeve just coming across the line in 13th ahead of Rogenbuck. But yeah, what a battle that. I mean, that Kelly showed what Yank probably should have done last time out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was perfect what Kelly did there. He gave Behrens the outside line, which managed to keep that inside line for the last corner. I think that's what Jank was trying to do in the first race, but unfortunately got it a little bit wrong. So we've seen how to do it and how not to do it in the first race. So we've had the second place car managing to get the first place in the first race, and the pole sitter, or the race leader in the second race, managing to keep hold of that place. We're just going to go to a quick advert break. In fact, we'll do the results first, and then we'll go to an advert break. So we see Jordan Kelly getting in first place, Jacob Behrens in second place, closely followed by Mark Charpentier in third, Jarrett Will, the top of the AMs, in fourth, Jan-Philippe Jank in fifth place, Simon Ball in sixth, Flavio Andelo in seventh, Jensen Anderson in eighth, Miro Hiraski in ninth, and Gabo Sabo, who will be your pole sitter for race number 3 in 10th. And there down we've got Pedro Dominguez, Ross Fowler, Jack Reeves, Alex Roddenbuck, Alexander Scorrett, Aaron Smith, Jay Walsh and Bruno Costa, with 2 runners that currently didn't race, which was Jacob Parise and Pushta Pravo, who I think decided they didn't want to race in race number 2, so all to play for in round number 3. So as we said, we're going to go through a quick advert break, so we'll just have a little pause here on Apex Racing TV, and we'll see you in a few minutes time.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala
and is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke,
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong,
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
and many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Welcome back to the Apex Racing League Formula V Championship. That was a word from our sponsors, Virtual Racing School and Apex Racing Academy, 2 sponsors which I have already explained about throughout the event. But we're now going into the 3rd race of the day, and we have Sabo on pole position again, becoming the reverse grid master, and it will be the top 10 reversed from that 2nd race. So Kelly and Berens line up 9th and 10th in the reverse order. So let's see what might happen in the race. But Andrew, what do you sort of expect to happen in this final race? Do you think it'll be as chaotic as we've had already, or do you think everyone might calm down for this final one?
Well, I mean, we've seen in the past that that doesn't always go to plan, but I think this the smallest reverse grid that we can have for 10 places. So, you know, we haven't got the maximum of 16 or the 13 that we had in the first race. So it's going to be about trying again to get through the traffic. But, you know, I think Savo at the front, we see he's considerably slower than probably the front runners in there. And the thing with amateurs on the front is it puts you under a little bit of pressure with all the pros behind you, and you're sort of prone to make mistakes. So it's dependent on how these the pro drivers manage to get around the slower AM drivers that are in front of them. So we can sort of have a look at the grid for race number 3. So we've got Savo on pole position, Araski 2nd, Adrianson 3rd, Andelo, Ball, Jank, Will, Charpentier, Berens, Kelly, Dominguez, Fowler, Reeves, Roddenbuck, Scarrett, Smith, Walsh, and be interested to see if Costa, Parise and Pravda actually take for this race 3, or whether they've decided that they want to give this round a miss. Obviously they do have a drop score event that they can take, so maybe they're just taking it for this round. And there as we sort of line up before the start of race 3 as the lights start to come on, and let's see if Savo can actually get a decent start in this 3rd race. Not too bad a start, but Araski's pretty much alongside him, so Araski will probably take him around the outside as we watch Adamson get on the inside of Araski and manages to take that 1st place. So Savo currently down to 4th place from starting from 5th place, so we see him got him back down the time order as we did in the 2nd as well. Currently a great start for Anderson Araski into 2nd place. Interesting to see if they can all get past this inside track and make it a clean round for race number 3. Managing all to do it so far, so yeah, I think we might actually have our first race where all cars managed to get around the opening sector of the track in unscathed position. So the As I say that, Jarrett
You
Smith
opened your
and
mouth.
Simon Ball just coming on the outside, so nearly, but they look like they're both still able to go on, so hopefully they'll still be able to continue. But obviously at the front of the grid, we've got Adrianson in first place, Haraski in second, Jank in third, Andelo fourth, Kelly in fifth, so managing to get up 5 places is Jordan Kelly, Reeves in sixth, Domingos seventh, Fowler in 8th place, Scret in 9th, and Charpentier in 10th place. So good opening round there from Kelly to get himself up, and he's currently taken 1 more place and is in 4th place. So Behrens is out of this race. I don't know if he took the start, so that's a bit of a strange one there.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Behrens, after covering his championship position, sums up this championship like a yo-yo and is now out of the second race, and it's advantage Yank who's in 3rd place again. So Behrens really not having the best of rounds. 2 poorer races and a 2nd place in the 2nd race, but Adrianson out in front, and I hope they catch his slipstream very quickly, because he has shown tremendous pace all night. A few mistakes, but he has been out in fresh air quite often and running at an exceptional pace, as he runs wide onto the grass there, and let's hope he doesn't make any mistakes and can bring this home. Haraski's in 2nd, Yanka in 3rd, Kelly up to 4th, as you said before, and DeLeo in 5th, and the top amateur is Jack Reeve in 5th now, who's gone past. It's all changed up front, because Yanks took 2nd, Kelly into 3rd, and Andaleo down to 6th by the looks of things. So there's been a mistake in the middle of there somewhere, which has just backed the pack up, and we'll just let these guys slipstream through before we announce any more positions, because they're changing quicker than I can change my socks.
The joys of the slipstreams in the Formula V, as we watch Kelly now trying to dive around the inside and managing to get that 2nd place off Jan-Philippe Janku, moves down to 3rd. Haraski manages to get the 4th place positions up, but we have Jack Reeves, who's right on the outside. So we'll get that side slipstream off Haraski coming down into the 2nd bus stop, as we see him side by side, but Haraski should have the position resolved before the bus stop going into that, as we see Jack Reeves trying to get that inside line. So he's going to take that inside line, which will put Haraski on the offside line, so he could watch out behind him, as we see Andelo going down the inside, and that's the effect of having 2 car wide into that last bus stop. You lose so much speed coming off there, as we watch Alexander Scaret getting involved in the action now and trying to go down the inside. So Pedro Dominguez here, currently sat in 8th place, just watching the battle in front of him between Ross Fowler and Miro Haraski. So it's all go on this 3rd lap, but we're keeping it rather clean, which is nice to see. So seeing plenty of racing and plenty of slipstream passes with 2 wides going into the bus stop.
It's been a great day for Pedro Dominguez in terms of a championship, with Scarat probably counting this as his dropped round. Big news back in the championship, again like a yo-yo. Behrens is back in this race, but 2 laps down, so he's looking just to try and score some kind of points. Whether he'd nipped off and missed the start of the race, I'm not quite sure, but he's back in this race. And at the front as well, we had a match in pace between Kelly and Adrianson. They were about a 10th apart on the last lap, so Adrianson not going to run away with this as simply as he thinks, as we carry on watching this battle, which is back and forward, and I think it leads from about 5th down to about 11th at least, as we're on board with Russ Fowler as we head round the banking towards the final chicane, and he's in the slipstream of Pedro Dominguez and Alex Scarat, both of them trying to decide when to pull out of the slipstream. Fowler does, he's past Dominguez, take that amateur position, and next up is Scarat as the smoke pours from the engine, as it always does on the overrun of these Formula Vs. Dominguez tries to fight back, but won't be able to make it through there. He's used his head all night long to score some good points for this amateur championship, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him a lot closer to Pravda by the end of tonight.
Yeah, so 4th all the way down to 9th place in this big long train, as we're watching on screen now, the battle. And obviously we've got Smith that's in 11th place, and Charpentier in 10th. Not far off the back of this group as well. So we've literally got an 8-car race here for 4th place at the moment, and they're all sort of slipstreaming each other. So Jack Reeves at the front will not have any of the slipstream effects, and all the cars behind him will be getting up, banking up behind him, and trying to get it as we see them coming down to the bus stop. So I expect the majority of them to be too wide coming into this corner. The thing is, like we say as well with these cars, you know, you get offline with these cars and scrub off some of the speed, and because it's not a very powerful car, you can't get up to speed straight away. So where we've seen cars going into this corner and getting it wrong and having to scrub speed, and that's where we see the cars behind. Take the perfect line as we see there. I think that's Scarrett coming around the outside there, getting a great exit out of the bus stop and taking a position. So, you know, it's all about trying to keep the speed and keep the momentum in these cars. As we're going to try to get a 3-car wide was Scarrett trying to get up the inside of them, but that would have been a very optimistic move there coming into that corner, as we see a car going off on the inside, which I think is Flavio Andelo that lost a bit of speed and momentum there. Manages to only lose 1 position, so managed to get away from that, but does have Fowler on his outside trying to get past him at the moment. But great battle here between about 8 different cars for 4th place.
Great battling, but it shows you the difference when you start slipstreaming to when you are actually battling, because Ball and Will have just set lap times 2 seconds quicker than these guys, so they'll be on the back of this pack before long. And this gap, to give you an idea of what the leader's gap is, his gap is 3 seconds. This group is covered by less than 2. So that just shows you the closeness. Sorry, 2.2 cover this group, and Adriansen has a 2.5 second lead. So that shows you how well Adriansen did to get away early on. As Haraski heads to the outside of Scarrett, he's going to be through using the slipstream of Reeve. Scarrett tries to fight back, but keeps it clean through there. Andaleo fights back at Scarrett and goes back through. You just can't keep up with this kind of racing.
Yeah, it's great. It's great for viewers watching us on YouTube, watching this action unfold, and the cars literally taking each other. It's like having a Scalextric track around your own track, on your own house, and just passing the cars on every corner. These little Formula V's, you know, it's so much fun, but you know, hard to drive, but so much fun when you get it, and so satisfying when you get around. As we see, too wide coming out of the last sector, so we're starting to see a little bit of a gap. You know, they're fighting a little bit too hard, as you see a little bump there from Charpentier on Dominguez, which puts Dominguez back down to 11th place at the moment, trying to fight up on the inside of Andelo. Oh, I think he just managed to tuck Andelo there, clipped his back wheel, and puts him down to 14th place. And as easy as that, we lose one of them off the back of the train to fight. So we're probably down to about 7 drivers now, but out front at the moment. And I think he's showing what he can do when he gets a bit of fresh air. Is Jensen Adjinson, who's currently 2.6 seconds ahead of Jordan Kelly, and the fight very much on for 3rd place between Kelly and Jank, with Jank just behind Kelly. So the race 1 and 2 winners here fighting it out at the moment for 2nd place. So we'll see who comes on top out of this battle.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Samuli can find it, but Smith pulled a brilliant move around the outside of 2 people into that final chicane. If we could get a replay of on board with that, I think we'll be holding our breath. He certainly pulled it off perfectly. But as you say, out in front, Yankers just lost the slipstream slightly of Kelly there. A bit of a mistake in the chicane, and it's just not allowing it. This could be the replay. Here we are on board with Aaron Smith. Now hold your breath, boys and girls, because that is inside of Andaleo. He backs off there and then finds a smidgen of a gap, and he's through past 2 cars on the inside, keeps it in check, and that's Andaleo and Dominguez, I believe, and he's through and up a couple of positions. That's a great overtaking move, and sensible as well. He knew he had the space and went for it. And that's what this racing is all about, just keeping your head and being very clever with your racing lines.
That was a very good spot there. I applaud you for that, Dave. That was a great spot on camera as we see. Oh, who's that? Is that
Scarrat.
Scarrat going a little bit wide there, coming out of turn 4, and obviously see the scrub off the speed you get when you lose a little bit of time. So losing near enough 2 spaces. Oh, that was a close call there with Charpentier behind on Scarrat. It was that much of a. Wouldn't have been able to fit a thin bit of paper between them there coming out of the corner, but luckily didn't manage to hit each other. But one person who has profited, which I found it quite surprising, was Reeves in 4th place. He's managed to keep that ahead of the train that was following him behind him. But I think that's because these guys are battling so hard, and it's just letting Jack Reeves in front cut the lines that he wants to. So they're all compromising each other's lines, like we can see here, 2 wide into the inner bus stop, which means they're both not taking the optimum line, which is going to scrub off speed as we watch Haraski nearly take a little bit of that wall with him on the exit of the bus stop there. But Scarrett managing to lose a place out to Smith, and then all of a sudden Fowler comes into the mix. So we've got 4 cars literally you can throw a blanket over the top of them.
Yeah, these 4 cars were part of that, and Charpentier has joined the back of this, so it's a 5-car fight. But not long ago, this was 4th all the way through to 13th. So that shows you how much this pack has been split up by the fighting, and as you said before, has allowed Reeve at 2 seconds a lap to pull away from this group. So that shows you if you can run by yourself without the battling, it really helps. And Haraski is now doing a Tour de France style runaway and hoping to be the breakaway pack ahead of the peloton, but I'm sure this peloton will slipstream straight up behind him and not let him get away with it, as Scarrat and Fowler are now side by side through the infield section, keeping it clean. Will they keep it clean on the exit? Yes, they do. No tyre scrubs between them 2, and now they will be under pressure from Charpentier, Ball and Will, who have all joined this group now, and now it's a new group of 5, and they really need to work together and push towards Smith, who might have just scampered away a little bit at the front of this group. Yeah, him and Haraski have just got a little bit, but Scarrat in no mood to just work together. Heads for the outside, passes Fowler, and moves up into 7th place as Simon Ball gets the chicane all wrong, and we'll let... Oh, that's Haraski off. Haraski, who was up in 6th place. Actually, I think he was 5th ahead of Smith, and he just replayed. Not here we are with Mirror. Haraski turns into the chicane, not too much curb or anything, but just runs wide, and I think he may have got either on the power too early or just clipped the wall, which we saw him almost hit the wall last time out.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think he connected with the wall on the exit when they're trying to get out of the bus stop. But you know, one driver that has impressed me in this round is Russ Fowler in 7th place. You know, and I'm mixing it very heavily with these pros, giving them no quarters, and actually see some quite impressive moves on the pro drivers to get past. So you know, Russ Fowler's having an exceptional 3rd round here. Currently sat in 7th place, and he's got 5th place in his sights with Scarrett Smith in front of him. But you know, wherever he finishes at the moment, you know, he's had an exceptional round in this race 3 for himself, and very much mix it up with his pros and letting him get away with the bully boy tactics that some of the pros might do, and mixing it quite well with them.
Yeah, completely agree. Russ Fowler has been in the battles throughout the night, but he's known when to pick his battles and when to back out of them. That's all important in this kind of racing. You'll see it in sort of a NASCAR oval or IndyCar style oval racing. You've got to know when to pick your battles and when to just back out and say, I'll live to fight another day. As we see Jetson Anderson, who doesn't need to pick his battles. He is out in front and away and clear by 2 seconds, but Kelly is closing slightly. This time by closes 4/10, and he's not bringing Yanka with him, but this is the final lap. I think I saw a white flag in the background, so Jordan Kelly is probably going to run out of time, but he was closing in. Yanka in 3rd, cementing his championship lead at the moment as the fastest lap goes in for Charpentier. But that pack of 5 is now trying to close in on Reeve. I think that will be a little too late, but they have closed in and drawn in Aaron Smith. As I said, he wasn't going to scamper away in front of the peloton that quickly. but just in front you can see Reeve just coming up to her back marker, so that may delay him slightly. Scarat been in every battle possible, I think, tonight, but there's Jack Reeve, and impressive by Jack Reeve tonight. He's running away, trying to catch Alex Roebuck. He'll get a nice slipstream to bring him round on the final lap, but he's done really well in the amateur category and is looking good for the amateur win here tonight in race 3. But Aaron Smith and Scarat side by side through the banking, heading towards the first bus stop chicane. As I predict, Adriansen can't be far from his first victory of the night in race 3, as Scarat now gets past Smith, and Jarrett Will and Simon Ball get very close in the chicane, but Will takes that position. But here is Adriansen over the chicane, and he wins clear of Jordan Kelly. Yanka will cement his championship lead in 3rd place. And here comes Jack Reeve to win the amateur category. A very good drive to get away from that battle of about 10 cars at one point. Side by side through the chicane, Scarat and Smith have collided, and it's backwards as well for Will and who's that? That's Ball. So they have collided, and Andaleo pops up into 9th place. So absolute chaos there on the chicane up in final lap. Scarat couldn't help getting in one more little fight before the end, and that has dropped him quite a few positions.
Yeah, managing to do the awesome thing of going over the line in backwards. So at least he can add that to his CV. I've gone over a race backwards in a Formula V to get a position quite high up. So yeah, good on him. But yeah, yet again with this Formula V Championship, we've had 3 races with 3 different winners. Jan-Philippe Jank winning the first race, Jordan Kelly winning the second, and Jensen Adriansen winning the 3rd race. So it seems to be going to form this championship tonight. So it'd be interesting to see Road Atlanta for the next round if it can continue right to the end of the season, where it is in this topsy-turvy world of the Formula V Championship. So be interesting to see where they do line up. Obviously, Jensen Adriansen and Jordan Kelly have missed far too many rounds to affect the championship, but certainly when they do come into the rounds, it certainly mixes it up, and they're certainly up in the top as we look at the race results from race number 3. So in first place was Jensen Adriansen, closely followed by Jordan Kelly and Philippe Jank in 3rd place. Jack Reeves, the top of the AM, in 4th place. I think that's 2 AM wins he's had tonight, with Aaron Smith in 5th place, Mark Chopintier in 6th, Russ Fowler, the second of the AMs, in 7th, Alexander Scaret in 8th, with Flavio Andalo in 9th, Simon Ball in 10th, Jarrett Will, Gabor Sabo, Pedro Dominguez, Miro Haraski, Jay Walsh, Alan Roddenbuck. Jackal Burns obviously had that difficult start, didn't take the field, but managed to keep going, and because he was in 3 laps, he will score points in that 3rd round, so obviously keeps his championship hope alive. And we had 3 non-starters of Bruno Costa, Jacob Parise and Prushta Prava. So all mix up again in both the AMS and the Pro Championship, all going into the last round around the short track on Road Atlanta. So an amazing night of action here again, Dave. It never ceases to amaze me how much action you get on these small cars that don't really go that fast.
No, the slipstream effect of these cars just make tremendous racing. And just a very quick one before we get on to the interviews, because we have 3 drivers waiting. We got to say thank you to our final sponsor for tonight, SDK Gaming. The HUD you see on the screen is exactly what we get from SDK Gaming, adding virtual live HUD to iRacing, showing timing towers and enhanced relative boxes, mini maps, fuel calculators. You can stream it on Twitch, complete with your overlay on iRacing, broadcast your league or series. SDK Gaming syncs your commentary teams, cameras, focus, drive, and overlay with your broadcaster. So they are very much something that you can use as a sort of an overlay, or you can also have it to adjust your team strategy on the fly with most accurate live timing in iRacing. So very useful for them endurance races you may be with. But we do have 3 people waiting in the interview area. So is there somebody you'd like to start off with, Andrew?
Let's go with Jack Reeves. Obviously, I think 2 race wins tonight.
Just the one tonight.
Just the one. So we got Jack. We got you into the commentary booth here. So
Hello.
how are you? So a great race we saw there in race number 3. Obviously, getting an victory there. You know, halfway through that race, it looked like you had a big long train following behind you. How was that race, and how were the 3 races tonight for you?
The first one, I think it went well. I'm not really sure. Yeah, it did go decently well. Then the second one, I got a bit unlucky with Jarrett. We made a bit of contact, so that's just how it is. That one, it was very scary. At one point, I was like, is this all over? Are they just all gonna go flying past me? But I managed to stick it out ahead of all the pros somehow. And they just ended up battling their way and working up time, which just saved me in the long run a lot.
Yeah, so obviously you started off today in 10th place, and with the results that you've had tonight will certainly push you up the order. We were talking in the stream about the topsy-turvy way that these championship round after round constantly changes, and I think that obviously doesn't discount anybody from winning the championship in this race. Do you find that going into the races that you never know what you're going to get out of them?
Yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, as you saw, I think it was Jordan Kelly, he had a pit lane start, but then he finished, I think, second, was it in the end? And in the last one, I started 13th and managed to finish P4. So anything can happen with these, even if you do get a pit lane start. Personally, I don't think that's enough for a penalty, because a pit lane start means nothing, because you just drive off the pit lane and everyone's spinning around in front of you anyway. So if anything, it helps because you get to avoid the action.
That's an interesting way to look at getting the benefit out of getting a penalty. But I'll probably tend to agree with you there, because obviously, you know, lap 1 in these championship has always been sort of carnage. Certainly in race number 2 and race number 3, where we've got the faster drivers on the reverse grid pole. How do you feel, and you know, when you get in that position where you've got the faster drivers behind you being one of the drivers?
Well, it's definitely nerve-wracking, because you don't know when they're gonna make the move, if they're gonna make the move, whether they want to stay behind you. But obviously, you know that they know that they're quicker. So at some point, it's inevitable they're gonna pass you. So it is definitely nerve-wracking when you got Jordan Kelly sitting on your exhaust.
But obviously, with the battling behind you, seemed to let you sort of scamper away, and that must have been a bit of a relief.
Yeah, 100%. I was just making sure to hit every apex, not mess up once, and just be consistent in the end.
So next round, for the final round, we've got Road Atlanta, the short circuit. Have you driven around that track yet in this car?
I have Road Atlanta, not in this car though, and not that layout, so I've no idea how it's going to pan out, but we'll go into it with an open mind, and hopefully something good happens.
Brilliant. Well, congratulations on your I'm not sure, is that your first one for
yeah, I think so, or second from Brands Hatch.
All right, yeah, so your second win of the season. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, first of all, definitely you guys and the guys at Apex. You guys sit here and do a very good at commentating, so thank you guys for putting on an amazing race. And people at Apex, definitely my friend Aaron. He had a pretty decent race today, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys.
Yeah, definitely. So thanks for joining us in the commentary booth, and look forward to the final round of the season.
Thank you.
And as I got it wrong, I think first race winner was Aaron Smith, wasn't it? So I did say it was Jan-Philippe Jang, but it wasn't. It was actually Aaron Smith. So I'm not sure who you would like to speak to next, Dave.
I think we'll have to speak to Jacob and see what happened to him.
Let's get him up into the commentary booth. There you go.
Jacob, not the day you were possibly hoping for, second place in race 2, but could you tell us what happened in race 1 for you?
Yeah, no, that was an honest mistake, really. Well, I can't blame anyone else but myself, which feels really bad saying it, but that's life, I guess. I took just way too much curb, and then I did the big hop, and then I did the big wall, which was not enjoyable in the slightest.
And in race 3, we saw you were 2 laps down. Did you just miss the start of the race, possibly, or were you planning to start from pit lane?
Well, there was a problem with my PC where it decided that iRacing wasn't allowed to refresh, which was a problem, so I didn't have an image. So I tried restarting iRacing and I didn't want to, and then I think like 2 minutes after the race started, I finally got it to load, and then I think I don't know how many laps I was down, but if I'm less than 2, I think I still get points, so it's just running to hopefully get some points.
Yeah, I think we were talking on the stream, and I think it was a position that we do think he scores points for that final race, but don't quote me on that. The second race battle was a great battle between you and Jordan Kelly, though, and going into the final corner, you could have won it as well.
Oh yeah, that was sour as well. The entire race. When Kelly made a mistake around lap 3 or lap 4, I think it was. I got close, and then I realized that, my teammate actually told me that there's no point in fighting because I'm still catching points on Yankee, and then I just decided, okay, let's wait for the last lap here, maybe make a few digs here and there just to see how anxious he is, and then wait for the last lap to make the move, because that's the safest option. And sometimes you don't get those, but it was worth a try.
Yeah, it was certainly worth a try after the first race where we saw Aaron Smith nick it off Yanker on the final lap corner. So certainly worth a try. We've got the final round at Road Atlanta. Obviously, hasn't been the best night for you in terms of the championship with Yanker getting a couple of podiums in that. But there's plenty of racing and points on offer. Do you think you've still got a strong chance of this championship?
Strong is a strong word. But I think, I don't know, I think I have a pretty big deficit now to make up. So I think, of course I'm going to try. I'm going to push it to the absolute edge. I've never driven on the Road Atlanta before. I don't even own the track, so I'm going to buy it now. But I think with some good luck and then an insane amount of practice and pushing, maybe I can get this.
Well, we've already seen with the action of the Formula Vs that anything can happen in these races. So good luck for the final round. And before we let you go, is there anybody you want to say thank you to?
I'm actually going to do a bit of an ordinary one here. Janke. I want to shout out to him, current championship leader. He keeps me pushing every single goddamn Monday. It hurts, but it also helps me improve as a driver, and it's nice to have someone to push you along. So to him, best of luck for Road Atlanta, and I hope I beat you.
Thank you, Jakob, and good luck at Road Atlanta.
Thanks. Bye.
That was Jakob Behrens, who didn't have the best of nights, but still in a mathematical chance of the championship. And that shows the respect between the two drivers at the top of the championship, that he's willing to use that time to say thank you to his championship rival. Maybe a few mind games as well.
Yeah, that's probably one of the things about ARL leagues, though. You know, there is obviously the hot-headed moments you do get in these leagues, but everyone pays respect to each other as best they can. And you know, by the end of the race, they realise if they have made a mistake, they do hold their hands up. So it's obviously very great. So we've got one more to do. So we've got our race 1 winner, Aaron Smith, join us in the commentary box. So Aaron, that's 3 rounds in a row that you've managed to get a podium, and this probably one is probably the most satisfying, getting that last corner slingshot around Jan-Philipp Jank to get the win in race number 1.
Yeah, well, I just thought get a good exit out of the first chicane, get a run on him, and hope I get enough overspeed to take him into the final corner. But I don't know why he did this. He just moved over to the right, and I saw a gap going down the inside and was like, oh, okay. So I went for it, managed to get enough speed to be ahead of him fully going into the final corner, and just thought, okay, job done. Next race.
Yeah, definitely. I think he made a slight error there, because what I think he was trying to do was what Jordan Kelly did in the second race, which was give you that inside line going into that corner. So then he would have had the inside line for the last corner, which was obviously the faster line. But unfortunately, I think he scrubbed off a little bit too much speed, and obviously you had that slipstream on him, which obviously enabled you to sling past him. So he probably felt that he probably lost that one rather than you getting it, but you obviously took the win from him, which was great to view on the stream, and must have been wholly satisfying on that.
It really was.
So race, I can't remember where you came in race 2, but obviously race 3 you got in 5th position. So we were talking last week about obviously your opportunities for getting up into them championship top 3 positions, and certainly from tonight you give yourself the best shot going into the last round at Road Atlanta to get yourself up there. So it's all to play for. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, 100%. I think if I can just keep it clean, Road Atlanta, I can 100% get top 3. I think after today, I might just be outside of it or just in it. But I think Janky and Behrens have just run away with the championship, and I think it'll be a battle between them. I think Behrens will have to work very hard if he wants to win it, because Janky is super consistent in these, and you don't notice it until like the final few rounds, but he's done very well this season, and my fortune in the last few races has just turned around, and I absolutely love this series now. But yeah, I'm just hoping for a top 3 next week, and hopefully I can get it.
You put yourself in the best position with the race results tonight, and obviously getting 3 race wins in the last 3 rounds of the championship to put you in good stead. Before we let you go, mate, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
My team, Zem Racing, me and Jack both race for them. They've been really supportive. They're such a great team, and I wouldn't be as good as I am now because they've just given me so much motivation and helped me through a lot, and I'm just incredibly grateful for them. Everyone at Apex, as usual, I say this every week and I'll keep saying it, you guys make this possible. It's so much fun. You guys give amazing commentary, and it's so much fun to watch for everyone I tell to watch, and they all enjoy watching it and enjoy watching me win. So but yeah, thank you guys. It's been such an amazing season, and give us a good one next week.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for joining us in the commentary spot. So there was Aaron Smith, our race 1 winner here in the 3 rounds around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So Dave, obviously we got Road Atlanta next week for the last round of the championship. You got any final thoughts on it?
Well, it's going to be Road Atlanta's not the widest place in the world, so it's going to be a completely different type of race to this. The S-bends near the start of a lap are just that little bit more challenging, and you could see a bit of side-by-side collisions through there if people don't give way. But it's going to be tough to beat Yank on the form he's on at the moment, because even in races where he's getting a little bit caught up in traffic, he's just not being able to be pushed that far back down the field enough to let people like Behrens take advantage.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got the last round coming up next week on Apex Racing TV. So if you've liked tonight the viewing, please give us a like on YouTube. Also hit that subscribe button, and you'll get and the bell, and you'll get all the series that currently we go live on Apex Racing TV. So we're live pretty much every single day from every single car available on our racing. So Monday we have this. We've got the new Mazda Cup coming up on the 4th of October. On Tuesday we've got the GT Pro coming into the last 4 rounds of that, followed by a GT AM series. On the Wednesday we've currently got round 3 coming up on tomorrow of the Radical Championships. On Thursdays we've got the TC cars starting up very shortly. On Friday, we've got the brand new Porsche 922 Cup going into the second round of that. On Saturday, we got a brand new Formula Renault 2.0 series happening, and on Sunday, we've got just ended the GT Trophy Championship, and we're going to go into a gauntlet style race. So if you're interested in joining any of the leagues here on Apex Racing TV, head over to apexracingleague.com and get yourself signed up for one of the leagues, one of the many leagues that we do over there. And also, if you don't and you just fancy joining us here on the stream, then please head over to our YouTube channel and look at our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Just look for Apex Racing TV. So that's it from myself, Andy Thompson, from Dave Whitehouse in the commentary box, with Samuli Kumo in the production booths from Charlotte Motor Speedway. We look forward to seeing you next week at the same time for the final round of the ARL Formula V Championship. Good night.